Sitting with a guy that supposedly was a CEO in business and mainly the general manager of GE, which was interesting because he's the ex-general manager. I think he's the guy I fired for stealing from General Electric. And he had another guy sitting there. I don't know who the other guy was, but he was sitting there and he was like talking all business and stuff. And I was like, oh, you mind if I, you know, say something? And I started talking business and whatnot with them, and they didn't like the way I was talking. They're like, oh, I don't understand this, I don't understand that, and whatnot, and that's not true. This is true. And I looked at them, and I just backed off the conversation. I was like, okay, never mind. I don't want to talk to you guys. I'll just sit here looking at my phone. And the fact of it is that no one talks and sits there and says, oh, GE 8.919, and then thus it's going to do this. No one tries to see the outcome. If GE's at 8.19 and GE knows that it's illegal to uh, finance GE through the stock market, and for you guys to sit here and keep talking, you would know one thing, which was said to them, that you guys are breaking the law. Because you're trying to foresee how GE stocks should be ran, and possibly even sitting there and manipulating them on a computer. So therefore, an employee or ex-employee of GE should never sit there and talk about the stock market and allow the stock market to do what it does best. But we all know one thing in the stock market as far as GE, it would take over 6 months to 90 days, give or take, what type of accounting you use to get the real figures of GE, because most figures that they use on the stock market are within 8 to 10% differences. It means they're off. If I need a new yacht, let's say for instance, on certain people in GE that have the knowledge of certain things, will sit there and say, oh, something, I'll go out around quite a few people, and I'm not saying he's doing this right now, but I'll go out around quite a few people, use a certain device and listen in on, you know, who's investing, who's not investing, get this person talking, that person talking. And we all know that the general manager and the CEO of GE cannot invest in GE. At least not through normal stocks for residential, to where you got the CEO of GE collecting what they call company stock. And that's just, company stock's like a bond, okay? It's like going and getting a 10-year note for whatever dollar, like, okay, I'll get a 10-year note for a certain currency. And a lot of them will do, oh, I'll get a 10-year note on $1, I'll get a 10-year note on $10, I'll get for whatever I put in there. So if you get a 10-year note on $100 you put in there, and the interest rate is normally about a 0.4 or a 0.5, and that's where you get that all mixed up, that the stock market was out there for the living people. It wasn't. It was only for the dead people. So so I'm trying to figure out how you got a stock market out of something they do for the dead people to try to get them more money. Especially, people that only have $10,000 left in their account, where that I might allow that stock, the fact of using their money of $10,000, and I mean, you can't lose in it. You can't lose money. It's not like it's a public stock. It's more like a dollar note that states $10,000 and being put through the government and whatnot, where they would constantly get the percentage, but they won't constantly lose any money. So you can't gain, you can't really lose, because the percentage is so low. You can't be invested in any more than one stock at any current time. Which I also noticed with some of the countries, especially Asia, and especially what's referred to the Arab or the desert region, how they wouldn't do that for some people. And that's where normally I would step in and I would say, hey, something, how much money does this person have in their account? And I do it right in front of the person. How much money does this person have? And they'd be like, oh, they have like $14,000. And I'll look through the whole investigation done through what their life how they live their life. And when I say live their life, it's not really that of too much of a marketing standpoint. I mean, there's marketing and accounting and all that in there, but it's mainly how did you live your life? And the marketing done on a person is not done for the sake of factories, companies, or corporation. It's done to get a picture of, are you living a good life? Are you helping people? The charity. The other one is in-house assistance. Through one of my houses. Actually, all of them's my houses. But anyway, and I'll look into my book, which states, everywhere you stayed, whether you needed assistance, you needed shelter, whether you needed, whatever. If you had 40,000, you wanted to do it on your own, I'll let you, as long as you get a job and whatnot, at least a part-time job to try to keep your funds sustained. And some would say, "Oh, you're a money manager." No, dude, I was more like the CEO that told you what to do. So actually, at the same time, it was more of what they refer to by reference of a president. But I just didn't run or do or one specific task with one country. I did it with multiple countries. And some say, "Oh, why don't you do that now?" Well, because some idiot in Kuwait decided either to change my name or to throw me in the wrong country. That's actually what my complaint by accusation against not a multitude of people, but a lot of people, especially the Union 787 and whatnot. So let's see. So I mean, it was interesting. That talk down there was interesting because really, by them talking, I could have called GE and said, "Hey, you got the ex-CEO, general manager, GE, sitting down here talking to the other guy," and it wasn't about how do you do accounting, what would be the best ways of accounting, or the best way to promote business by that of ad marketing. Like, don't advertise that $8.5 million. That'd be exceptional. Oh, Super Bowl, $8.5 million. Yep, they're passing money around. No one gets paid $8.5 million or a breakdown of $750,000 to sit there and do an ad, because it's illegal to show anything of your underwear.